Great. G'day everyone, a warm welcome to those of you who have dialed in across LA and Canada and every other place around America where you may be viewing this. We have had a bit of a delay. We had some drilling in the office over in Adelaide which held us up a little bit, so thank you for your patience. Today we actually have Paul Victory from SeaLink Travel Group who is going to present to us. You probably saw that Renee Good from Great Southern Rail was also meant to be presenting. Unfortunately, she's fallen ill today, so what we're going to do is reschedule the webinar for GSR on another date. As usual, if you've got any questions, please type them into the question box and we'll address those at the end of the session. We're going to try and keep this one to around 25 minutes. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Paul Victory. How are you, Paul?
I'm great, thanks John, and good afternoon to everybody. Welcome. It's great to be here in Adelaide to talk more about our business here, the SeaLink Travel Group. We're a major tourism service operator. Our core business is Kangaroo Island. I want to talk this morning or this afternoon about in particular Kangaroo Island, but I want to extend that conversation up into the Flinders Ranges, into the Barossa Valley, and some of our linkages with the Great Ocean Road through Victoria as well. I'll talk about our whole business group, which has a number of brands and a number of product lines. So I'm hoping that this morning will be a great educational tool for you guys in the States and Canada. I'm looking forward to travelling up through both the United States and Canada in about a month's time, and always have great adventures travelling through your country, so I'm really privileged to be able to talk with you this morning. As I said, the SeaLink Travel Group is a multi-award-winning business based in Adelaide, but our business extends to Auckland, through the Australian cities of Townsville, Melbourne, Sydney and Adelaide. So we're a large and diverse travel company, around 350 staff altogether. If you've got a pen handy, there's probably two major websites that I'd like to refer to throughout the morning. One is my trade-specific site called sealink.biz, B-I-Z. The sealink.biz website is our trade-only website, so it's just www.sealink.biz, B-I-Z, and this has our complete trade product manual, and all the products that I'm talking about today will be able to be downloaded on that site. Our other major website is our consumer site. It's sealink.com.au, so it's sealink, S-E-A-L-I-N-K.com.au. And that site's our consumer site, and you'll find lots of information about Kangaroo Island, but also about our complete product lines, our Australian dollar pricing, and lots of other information that will help visitors enjoy their experience in South Australia and Kangaroo Island. Right, that's me. Here I am, just a young fella, of course, and I really have been marketing South Australia for many years, and I've been with the SeaLink Travel Group for around 7 years as their business development manager, and I manage our complete international program, which extends to around 40,000 international passengers a year. So we're a very experienced, very reliable travel company. We're certainly here in Adelaide to do business with you, and we can either do that through your wholesale network in the United States and Canada, or we can do business direct with you as well, and I'll talk to you about that at the end of the presentation. As I said, our business is based in what we call Southern Australia, Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney, Kangaroo Island, and we have a ferry service as well in Auckland, visiting Waiheke Island and Great Barrier Island in the Auckland Harbour. Around 40,000 international passengers a year, and around 3,000 to 4,000 from the United States annually. That group of passengers from the States are really looking for a Kangaroo Island experience. They're also enjoying the Barossa Valley, but they generally combine their trip to Kangaroo Island with another destination in Australia. So the itineraries may be Sydney, Cairns Kangaroo Island, or Sydney Melbourne Kangaroo Island, or Sydney Uluru Kangaroo Island, but certainly Kangaroo Island is probably one of the major highlights of their trip here into South Australia. Of course, our beautiful city of Adelaide is well worth a night or two stopover. Has some beautiful experiences in and around the city itself. It's only 1.5 million people in Adelaide, so just a small city and easy to get around with a central tram service and all the major hotel services here in Adelaide. We're a complete travel wholesaler, so we actually do a range of self-drive itineraries as well. So those self-drive itineraries can be ex-Adelaide or ex-Melbourne and combine the Great Ocean Road with Kangaroo Island, or just from Adelaide towards Kangaroo Island, maybe combining the Barossa Valley, that sort of thing as well. So we package around about 400 suppliers as well to be able to add to our Kangaroo Island product range. So we're a complete travel wholesaler. And our business is about groups, FIT and special interests. So we're able to tailor-make an experience very much for you and your passengers. If it's a group, we generally sort of say a group is anything from about 15 and above. And we would tailor-make an experience for a group of 15 or more. Otherwise, we can fit smaller groups, sort of 6 or 8, into our existing FIT program without any problem as well. I've got a dedicated trade and international staff division. So we've got around about 6 people who work just to do bookings for you and other international trade partners, and we're available 6 days per week from our office here in Adelaide. That's our sort of operational framework. So Southern Australia, if you know that link between Melbourne and Adelaide, it's around about 1,000 kilometres between Melbourne and Adelaide if you take the scenic route via the Great Ocean Road. It's of course around 800 kilometres if you take the direct route, but along the Great Ocean Road and through the Grampians and the Coonawarra wine districts, it's around about 1,000 kilometres from Melbourne to Adelaide. Between Melbourne and Adelaide, very readily available air services. Of course, maybe up to 8 or 10 flights a day between Melbourne and Adelaide. So easy connection with all your major airline partners. And of course, Kangaroo Island sits off the south coast there. You can see the small island of Kangaroo Island off the southern coast of Adelaide. It's 150 kilometres from tip to tip, so it's quite a bigger island than what people anticipate, Kangaroo Island. And it's just 45 minutes by ferry off the coast of Adelaide, off that southern Fleurieu Peninsula. So the ferry service there is a 45-minute service between Cape Jervis and Penyshaw, and the trip from Adelaide down to Cape Jervis is around about 90 minutes by coach or car, and that's a beautiful scenic drive or scenic coach service. And most of our tours, which depart early in the morning, take that trip and often see kangaroos and beautiful wine country scenery along the way. And then, of course, our passenger service on Kangaroo Island, it's a large ferry service I'll flick to in a minute, and it sits up to 350 passengers. We operate up to 12 times daily across that passage, but in the middle of winter, our winter, which is your summer, which is the current time of year, it's only about 3 or 4 times a day. So pre-booking a ferry is very important in terms of your passenger's itinerary. As I said, the island is about 155 kilometres or 95 miles long in length and up to 35 miles wide. Quite a large island. There's no public transport or taxis on the island, so a hire car or a tour or a own car option is what people need to do. They can, of course, people can just enjoy the ride down and take the ferry across and enjoy Penyshaw, but I would recommend that people do tour the island or do take a self-drive option or a hire car option around the island, because most of the western end of Kangaroo Island is the National Park precinct. Up to 35% of Kangaroo Island is actually National Park, and the western end of the island is where the major attractions are. So our passenger ferry service is the core of our operations, up to 350 passengers on board, 55 cars. So it's a drive-on, drive-off passenger ferry, as you can see in that small picture. You drive your vehicle on the ramp, and it is up to 55 cars on board.
The passenger, the journey is around 45 minutes, as I said, and it's a modern luxury ferry. There's a cafeteria on board, and of course all the services. It's generally a flat crossing. However, in the middle of winter, at the moment our seas are can be quite rough, but it's just a short journey, and generally people are relatively comfortable across the journey.